Hey, ladies, it's the last day of 2022. Woo-hoo. We had a lot of
Yeah.
ups and downs. We went
Actually,
through a lot of
2 years to me already. 2 years and 2 hours into New Year for me.
cool. So,
Happy New Year.
yeah, we went through a lot this year, but we're just gonna focus on the positive and what we're gonna take into 2023. So, this is a topic that we're revisiting. It's called Favorite Things, and it's based off of the song by Julie Andrews and The Sound of Music. So all three of us loved watching cartoons growing up. And we're just going to go back and talk about some of the cartoons that we don't see anymore. They didn't get reboots. And this was inspired by Miriam. She was sending videos about Alvin and the Chipmunks, and we loved that growing up. So I'm just going to review some that we enjoyed as children that we don't see anymore. So here's this was Felix the cat, cute little cat, black and
Yeah,
white.
Sports the Cat is very dear to our childhood because my mother was a caregiver most of our lives and her life, and she had a very dear patient named Jonah Bell that we saw as like a family member when we were children. And I remember her because she had a Felix the Cat. Was that a clock
Or a
or
telephone.
I think it was a clock or a
Yeah,
phone.
the telephone.
Yeah, she had a Felix the Cat clock or whatever, phone or whatever, and it was like super memorable. I remember the smell of her house. I remember there was like plastic couches, wasn't there?
Yeah.
There was
Okay.
plastic on the furniture, and she was just slow motion, typical old lady, Jerry curls, super nice. She was wearing her pajamas every time, just very super sweet and hospitable, elderly woman. Jonah Bell, rest in peace, because not sure what time she died, but I'm sure she's
Oh, she was older. She was an older woman.
elderly when we
Um,
were younger. But I
mhm.
always
Well, Felix the
remember
cat always creeped me out, and I know why now.
mommy always loved her.
Mhm.
and
The memories of Felix the cat.
Felix the cat was one of the clocks in her house or phone, whatever. I don't remember I was so young that I don't remember if it was a clock or if it was a phone, but I remember her house having Felix the cat for sure.
It was a clock because the tail used to do this, and the phone doesn't need to
Okay,
do
yes,
that.
yes, it was a clock, yeah, but I
Hmm.
remember Felix the cat as a clock slash phone in my memory. But if you
Hmm.
say it was a clock, then fine.
Okay, so then there was little Lulu. This is just included for Monique because this is our older sister. She loved this show, and mommy recited the beginning of it. I don't recall it very much. All right, Alicia, you want to expand on Droopy?
Droopy.
What do you want?
Droopy was cool because,
Nonchalant,
yeah.
blase. He was the epitome of blase.
Yeah.
Yes,
He was
He's
defines
like,
also
it.
he was quite the proof too.
he'd be like, oh yeah, you're about to die.
Yeah. You see how you see how old these cartoons were?
Mhm.
Cartoon Network bought super old cartoons. Because we were watching them in the 90s, but they were like 50, 60 years old at
By
the
that
time.
point. Hmm.
All right, next one. Yeah, Popeye the Sailor Man.
And then this is
Well, did you see that Olive Oil was a main character for a decade in a comic strip? And then
Mhm.
Popeye stole her thunder and became the main character.
Was she? I didn't know that backstory actually.
Oh, yeah, the cool thing about most of these cartoons, go to the next one,
Mhm.
is that, well, not her, not Penelope Pitstop, but a lot of them were comic strips in the early 1900s,
Mm.
and they were adapted into cartoons. So
This
the
one was
same way comic book movies and popular New York Times bestsellers
art
become
adapted.
multimedia franchises, same thing with these.
I loved her.
We're gonna
This
see Hanna-Barbera a lot too.
yeah, she was
Hanna-Barbera.
she was a cool character in that show where they were all racing in these crazy cars, and those
Yeah.
races were insane.
You know what's so funny? I don't know if Hanna Barbera is like a black pronunciation or what.
Yeah.
Like it's Barbara for white people, and it's Hanna Barbera for black people for some reason. I don't know.
Mhm.
Maybe it's the us thing. I don't know.
Woody Woodpecker
All
was
right, then
really
there's
cool because he is actually the mascot for Universal Studios, and he's one of the few, if not only, I'm not sure, maybe Mickey Mouse does. Woody Woodpecker has a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, and he's a cartoon.
oh wow, that
Ain't
is
that something?
so hmm.
That's all. Shout out to
Next.
Woody Pecker.
Captain
Wait,
Planet!
wait, Captain Planet. Let me talk about Captain
Oh.
Planet. Captain Planet is one of my core memories as a child. This is the one time, this is the only time in my childhood that me, Tamika, and Alicia actually got along when the show was going on. That was the only time I fit in with them. We'd be like, wind, water, blah, 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 Captain Planet rules, or whatever the frick the theme song
I was
was.
about to say Cap because we used to get along for a lot of stuff. Like,
Yeah.
I know, that's my joke, that's my running joke with you guys.
oh,
Because
But
we're
no,
just doing old Cartoon Network stuff. We had Nickelodeon and stuff too.
yeah, we got along for plenty. All right, the Snorks.
Okay, Snorks were the whack version of the Smurfs.
I actually
Weird
have
down
no idea.
motion.
They're actually so corny that I don't even remember them. Not even gonna lie to you. When you said the Snorks, I was just like, yep, not even a core memory, not even a slight memory. This was erased from my childhood. They were not potent enough.
Not
Their
approved.
storyline was not potent enough.
All right,
Top
well then,
Cat.
Top Cat was. Top
They were
Cat
they were
was.
gangsters.
Exactly.
Manhattan Alley Gang, scheming and plotting, and that cop was always busting them.
as he should have been.
Yeah.
But why was the cop worrying about cats? That's the real question. Why was the cop worrying about cats instead of real crime? That's the real question.
And my favorite.
I think they were basically ragging on the police. The cats represented Black people.
Oh, yeah, I think. Yeah.
And then there was Little Nemo.
Yes. And guess what? Little
Slide.
Nemo was a comic strip too.
Love
Was
that
it?
movie.
It was a comic strip in the early 1900s. Yeah, so these were incredible.
Like honestly, Little Nemo or whatever scared the crap out of me. Scared me
Oh
legitimately.
no, it
The
was
part
fun.
was it the part when the nightmare came out of the bottom of the
Yes, like
That
that
movie was so fun.
was scary. Like, okay, the Slumberland part was fun, but the shizema, no. Like all that stuff was scary.
You were scared of the nightmare guy.
I was
Oh,
like
he was
7,
lame.
8, 9, whatever. I was scared. I was shook. The sludge coming out of the door, all that
Oh,
stuff.
they were getting down when that sludge came out. Did you see the king? How he was?
That stuff was scary.
He was getting down.
Like that stuff was scary to me. Like, nah, not like no.
Slumberland was so beautiful.
What?
Slumberland was so beautiful.
No, wait. Okay, so there's like a Jason Momoa film that just recently came out. Was
Does
that
that
like
have anything to do with it?
I don't know.
It was connected to that comic book, that comic
Ooh,
strip.
I need to look into this.
I didn't get it because it was a little girl. I don't know what that was
I'm
about
gonna
for
look
real.
into it. All right. Well, those were our favorite. One of our favorite things was cartoons. So I hope we can just like think of nice things for 23. Some good goals. What are some of your goals before we?
Those weren't our favorite cartoons. Those are obsolete cartoons that were not
Well,
adapted.
some of our. I mean, like I was honing in on like the fact that we liked cartoons.
Oh yeah.
We did like those. So
I just want people to know that those were not our favorite cartoons.
Well, Captain Planet was one of them. I was just trying
Yeah,
to.
Little Nemo was fine, but come on now. The Pickaninny Felix the cat, nah.
All right.
He was just a nightmare.
If you put a gun to my head and was like, what was the premise of Felix the cat? I would have died like the moment the cat passed. Straight up.
He was just memorable because of the way he looked.
Actually, no. The real time was at the Snorks. If they tell me name one facet about the Snorks, I would have been firing squatted. It would have been
No,
over.
you didn't know that they lived underwater. They were the underwater
Snorks.
squirts.
I think the only thing I would have got with that would be reading between the lines, and snorkel, snorks. So it would have been underwater. I would have probably got that much, but I would have not have guessed anything.
Hey, who remembers that Ratchet totem pole show?
Oh yeah, where they all
This
kind
show
of
where these creatures would come
came
together
in
and
and
make a totem
made a
pole.
totem pole.
I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure it was insensitive to indigenous people.
that's why we don't know about it
Oh,
anymore.
totem pole.
No, it wasn't
No,
called
it was some
that.
show where all these creatures would come together and
And
make a
make
totem
one.
pole. It was weird.
We'll look into that, Leash. All right. Well, think on good things and positive things. Philippians 4:8. And just yeah.
Some mamas.
Cartoon Network bought a lot of really old shows for 90s kids to somehow know about. And
Great.
hence they did not translate to the 21st century, which is
Oh.
not what happened with Alvin and the Chipmunks
Betty
and the
Boop.
Smurfs.
Betty Boop, boop, Betty Boop.
Is she still around? No.
I don't know, but
Yes, she
Grandma
made it.
loved her, and I love her.
All
All
right, girl.
right. Happy New Year.
Goodbye, 2022. Hello,
You guys are
God
2023.
cutest.
bless you all for 2023.
My sisters are super cute.
Oh,